Ladies and gentlemen, this next podcast will be scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Nicholas Jason Lopez, and on the other side of the ring, his website, ProWrestlingOpinion.com, your home for pro wrestling news, reviews, and so much more. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome to episode 4 of Intermission. The podcast strikes back. I don't really know, I can't recall a 4th installment of anything that's gone well, but yeah, it is what it is. It's been a rather quiet Sunday on the home front. East Coast is just kind of cold, so you can't really go out and walk. There's rumors of a big snowstorm next weekend, which is very fun. The only day that really looks good this week is Wednesday, so we're going to be cherishing that with all of our mate. Just looking on my Facebook feed again. It's been a quieter day than usual, but there's a story from PWP Nation saying Shawn Michaels no longer wants to wrestle. And they put up a little caption. This will probably come as a relief to most. Shawn Michaels won't be wrestling anymore. He got his rumored 7-figure payday from the WWE Crown Jewel event and will continue to help the next generations of stars flourish. Well, with the 7-figure payday, that you wouldn't really have to do much of anything. Can't really say this is a shock. It would be nice if WWE had actually followed through with keeping HBK away from the squared circle. As we all could recall, he had a pretty good send-off. Same thing with Ric Flair. Those two retirements were pretty much on point, so I really didn't get the idea of bringing HBK back, even for a nostalgic one-off match. As good as he always is, it's hard to get behind somebody when you know they're on their glory days, and he looked like Triple H on his last go. It was kind of sad, their Crown Jewel match. It just looked like two old men fighting off costumed attackers. I don't know. I really know how else to describe it, but not really my cup of tea. I guess it worked for them. It is what it is. Alright, seeing another wrestling meme. Simpsons Church singing, "Glorious, no, I won't give in, I won't give in." On the bottom of it, Reverend Lovejoy is saying, "Wait a minute, this sounds like Bobby Roode's theme song. How dare they sing that in my church?" I know, that was a really bad Reverend Lovejoy impression. Feel free to come and sue me. Alright, coming across a post from Matthew Ryan. If you view pro wrestling from the lens of a socio-economic adjunct to tribalism and religion, it tends to make sense, especially when it comes to who we cheer for, the styles we prefer, and the passion P1s have. Same for all sports. That was really deep. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll give that a like. A lot of talking about football and things of that nature. It's a cold Sunday. I get it, but other than that, not really much happening. IWE, Independent Wrestling Entertainment, they have some big pro wrestling shows coming out February 1st and 2nd in Fairfield and Brewer. Contact Sonny Roselli to reserve seating today. Tickets are only $10. So if that's relevant to you and do you think that's a good thing, go ahead and check that out. Silence is never a good thing. Oh, here we go. AEW back again. What's new? All Elite Wrestling collaboration with China's OWE, quote-unquote, can be huge. This is coming from a story from scmp.com. AEW back at it again. Seeing a wrestling group discussion of Shawn Michaels' return for one more match. Please don't do it. Would you rather see him face AJ Styles or Seth Rollins? Well, my money's on AJ Styles, but I would have wanted to see that match in 2007, so Seth Rollins would be the better opponent, nowadays anyway. But I'll just go ahead and just dump a thumb on there. Dump a thumb. I'm priceless. Anyone watching UK TakeOver? Well, I didn't. But as I'm sure, if it's like any other TakeOver event, it was the greatest thing on the face of the planet. Gonna do some personal shoutouts. If anybody listening hasn't checked out, I got my first piece published on Sportskeeda, kind of about why Chris Benoit isn't a viable Hall of Fame candidate. Which, ironically enough, I got the idea from episode 1 or 2. I think it was episode 2, Attack of the Podcast. Which was very good, very legendary, if you call it. But, yeah, feel free to check that out. That's the cool thing about scouting feeds. Anything could just come out of nowhere. Yep, like I mentioned before, it's been a little bit of a quiet Sunday on the front. Not really much happening. Royal Rumble's in a couple of weeks, so there's that. Which I think the show is like 8-9 hours long now. So I think the Royal Rumble is just literally the entire show. That's how they're gonna do it. That would be sad. I don't know these days. It is what it is. Who is your favorite female wrestler? All started off. I've always been a Toni Storm fan. I have heard a lot about her, and congratulations for the big win. Haven't really been in touch much with the current pro wrestling, besides maybe a main show here and there. Just trying to be fair to coverage purposes. But I will say, if I had to throw a name out there, probably Trish Stratus. She kind of emerged at the right time. She had the looks, blonde, bombshell kind of thing going on. Manager/valet. And then, holy shit, she could actually wrestle. So her and Lita are actually notorious for having the first female main event of a Raw. So I'm going to just throw it out right there. Some people may say Sunny, but she never actually wrestled. Another news breaking out from eWrestlingNews.com from the man with the plan, Ryan Clark. Shout out to you, buddy. You're always grounding and doing your thing. Headline, Triple H says some WWE stars could remain in NXT without going to main roster. The ironic thing is they would probably be a lot better off. See, that's the thing about NXT that pisses me off sometimes. The main roster, too. NXT was at one time supposed to be like the minor leagues. You go up, you polish your skills, and then you move up to the main roster, and, things take off from there. But we've seen over and over for teams like, awesome teams like the Revival, thrown up on the main roster, and now they're like afterthoughts. Hell, I'll even throw Finn Balor's name in there. Okay, he had it set when he came up. He was the first Universal Champion, and a shoulder injury kind of derailed that. But when he came back, why would you not throw him right back into the main event scene? That's my question. So this might be Triple H trying to save face, and sounds like NXT is obviously more than just developmental at this rate. It's its own separate brand. Maybe he's trying to do this to get the thought away that, hey, NXT is the stomping grounds, and then you go to the main roster. If NXT could just be its own brand, there's still that connotation that NXT is where you have to go before the main roster, with the exception of maybe AJ Styles and Braun Strowman. But that would be beneficial to be in NXT and just stay in NXT. And I think the NXT product would really benefit, because sometimes there's people from NXT that move on to the main roster and they completely lose their momentum. I'm sure Triple H is very unhappy about that. Which is probably why he's saying this. Can't say I blame him, but it's really discouraging to see that the main roster is supposed to be the mecca, all you can be, and NXT is kind of one-up them on that. That's just my opinion on it, but I'm not sure what you would think. I don't really know what you're thinking, because I can't hear you right now. But I'm sure if you're thinking something, it's something okay. But yeah, the evolution of NXT has been amazing. The contrast between NXT and the main roster is outstandingly ridiculous. Who knew that creative storylines, actual matches revolving around wrestling, was the way to do it? It seems like common sense these age. This age. See, I'm just thinking about the main roster is getting me all jumbled up. Another meme I'm seeing, Obama plus Thanos, Obanos, The Rock. Good lord, that picture is pretty much on point. Ugh. Oh, internet, never stop, never stop. And a lot of my feed is just how hard did aging hit you. I did the classy thing. I put up a picture, my very first picture, Throwback Thursday to the max, of myself on the couch the day I came home from the hospital. Doesn't get more agey than that. Another picture I'm coming across, WWE 2019 on the top and WWE 1990 on the bottom. No wonder if nowadays no wrestler remains in memory because everyone looks alike. Well, kind of got a point there, but that's the current trend, and the major difference between now and back then was that, well, these wrestlers could actually wrestle. I mean, hard-hitting, British, strong style, there's nothing better than that. The people in the 90s it was a different time, different era. A lot of it was more focused on the muscular than the in-ring ability. Of course, you had people like Bret Hart kind of sneaking through there, but it was very more character-based. Nowadays, it's more, what can you do in the ring? And yeah, there's a lot of beards and mustaches, but that's just what it is. That's what the trend is nowadays, like it was back then. So I disagree with that. Very much so. Very, very much so. I mean, I get the argument, but it's not really relevant. And it's almost 30 years of a comparison, so that's a little bit unfair. Going across another picture, Hall of TNA / Impact World Champions 2007 to 2018. We go from Kurt Angle, Sting, Samoa Joe, Mick Foley. Yep, Mick Foley was actually a TNA champion. AJ Styles, RVD, Jeff Hardy, Mr. Anderson. Funny, I don't remember him being champion, but James Storm, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Bully Ray, Chris Sabin, Magnus, Eric Young, Bobby Lashley, who had a really, really good reign, by the way. Ethan Carter III, Matt Hardy, Drew Galloway, Eddie Edwards, Berto El Patron, Eli Drake, Pentagon Jr., Johnny Impact. Obviously, the list has only gotten better as of late, but there were some hiccups in the road there. Chris Sabin, for one, at least back then. That was... At least Impact Wrestling is really cleaned up, and now it's a company you can really get behind, but haven't really seen much. There's a big match coming up on SmackDown where Rey Mysterio will take on Andrade Cien Almas, which is supposed to continue their quote-unquote epic series. That's gonna be good. That is definitely going to be good. And with that, we'll end episode 4. Thank you.